Hello, everybody. My name is Barry Johnson. Welcome back to another edition of Studio Talk. Today, I'm going to have a short little conversation because I think it's important that people out there understand why it's important to find a good partner out there when you're going out to buy your music gear. Having a great partner out there that you know is reliable, that it has a consistent reputation is super important. And I'm going to talk about one of those places today. But before I get into that, this conversation is obviously about Sweetwater music. You know that from looking at the thumbnail coming into it. You know, I did a video, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago, I'm guessing, was really about the fact that Sweetwater had been bought out by a private equity firm. And I had voiced my concerns about how is that going to impact their business. And so, because if you look at the history of those types of things, whether it's been with, Guitar Center, who seems to be going through it all over again right now. Apparently, they're broken out of money again and still looking for it. Although I was in a Guitar Center today, and I was, I was humbled a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people in there. I thought that was fantastic. Didn't buy anything, but hey, I happened to be next door, so I'm a musician. I gotta walk in the guitar store. So I walked in there. So anyway, but we know about all their money problems with Bain Capital anyway. So I don't want to get too far into that. That's not what this is about. So anyway, I had a lot of concerns. Is that gonna change what I felt at the time to be an amazing, amazing, amazing store? All right. So let me get this out of the gate. Sweetwater has no idea I'm even making this video. They're not going to see it before it gets published. So no, I've not been bought and sold by Sweetwater, but I am going to talk about why I feel Sweetwater is the greatest guitar, instrument, keyboard, recording, all those things and more store to ever exist on the planet. Does that mean there's not a lot of really great stores out there? Of course not. I've certainly got many others that I really, really like. But between, especially in the online world, which is pretty much where the majority of us do most, if not all of our purchases these days, because the local music store has declined. I would like to buy local, but oftentimes it's hard to find the inventory. And so Sweetwater, of all of those, for me, has been the best. My experience with customer service has been nothing but flawless. I mean, I have zero criticism of that. None whatsoever. I find that the selection now, here's basically what I do. If Sweetwater carries what I'm looking for, then I buy it from Sweetwater. If they don't, then I have some other vendors that I go to. So Sweetwater doesn't carry everything, obviously, but they have a massive, massive, massive selection of products because they do so much volume. They can buy and negotiate and contract all of these things in volume. And so that's why you tend to get the greatest variety of selection, whether you just started out in this and you're getting started and you need a basic interface, or maybe a $200 guitar or whatever that might be, whatever it is you're going to a music store to buy. You can find that there. If you're somebody who's at the professional level and in major studios, you can find so much there. You can't find everything, but you can find a lot there. For everyone of the mortal beings at home, those of us like myself, we've got our studios back here, you're pretty much going to find the majority of what you need available at Sweetwater. I found also that if they obviously match everyone else's prices like everyone else. They offer free returns, a 30-day time, but lots of online dealers do that. But I've never once been hassled or even questioned about a return. I can't say that with all major online dealers, Let's look at, speaking of dealers, let's talk about typical Sweetwater's, competition from a volume perspective. Obviously, their first competition, first and foremost, is going to be Musician's Friend, which is basically Guitar Center, if you didn't know that. They're the same company. One's just an online store, one's a brick and mortar store, but it's the same company. Oftentimes, if you're searching online, you're actually going to get a better price for an item at Musician's Friend than you will Guitar Center online. Keep that in mind, word for wise. Check that out. Next up beyond Musician's Friend, obviously is going to be American Music Supply, another major online dealer. Now, I would say for your most average products, those are their main competition for volume, worldwide. Outside of that, of course, there's many other great dealers out there. You've got Sound Pure. I'm a big fan of that music store. You've also got Vintage King. If you're in the pro gear market, Vintage King will have what you need for sure. I love Vintage King. And I'm also a huge fan of Alto Music over in New York. I've got nothing but great deals from them over the years. But today I'm talking about my go-to, my partner that I always seem to be able to rely on is Sweetwater. Patrick is my sales rep. Patrick, if you get a chance to see this, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the things you've done to help me out along the way. There are a lot of people out there that say that there's no advantage to having somebody knowledgeable about the gear, that doesn't mean anything. Well, that's because those people know what they're doing when they walk in. Now, I hate to break it to you, some of you folks out there, but not everybody's like you. That's when having a knowledgeable person on the other side is helpful. And I've had nothing but that every time I've ever had an interaction with somebody at Sweetwater. I think they do a fantastic job. And let's face it, who doesn't like watching Mitch Gallagher on his YouTube videos out there? I know I do. He's got a great personality. He's just a guy you want to like and you've never met. But anyway, so at the end of the day, I haven't seen any changes whatsoever, nothing whatsoever to give me any hesitancy. My fears from 6 months ago with the capital management company coming in, they don't seem to have come to fruition, and I'm still got my fingers crossed that they won't. But that said, I think a lot of you may make this one mistake, and I think this is an important one. And I think Sweetwater should be doing a better job of communicating. If I've got some criticism for you, Sweetwater, do a better job of communicating this message. It's important because a lot of people are making assumptions with it, right? And that is inventory at Sweetwater is low. Many items are out of stock and have been out of stock for a long time. It's hard to get gear right now from Sweetwater. I hate to break it to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to get gear from anywhere. I was in a major department store the other day. It's a major, nationwide here in the States, men's suit company. And I go in there and literally they only had 1/4 of the floor had any clothes in it. There were no clothes. And I'm saying, oh, what's going on? You guys moving? No, this has been like this for months. We can't get anything. So not only is our industry impacted like every other with the supply chain issues going in, getting the products actually off the ships and to the store so they can get the guys like me and you. You've got that issue compounded by the chip shortage issue, okay, which is massively impacting a lot of what we buy. And you just can't get those things. Just go out and try to go to some of these places like Hairball Audio, and places like that, Cappy, and try to buy their kits right now. If you want to put together your own little 500 series or your 1176 or whatever you want to do between what you're looking for and you want to solder those and put those together, good luck. See how it goes for you, because I'm dying for this stuff to get back in stock because I got my soldering iron ready to go and I want to go and I want to start putting some of that stuff together, but you can't get that stuff. So that's what's driving it. So for some of you, if you're assuming that Sweetwater's challenge has been due to, as far as inventory and things like that, that it's somehow due to being bought out by the capital management company, I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Stores are out of stock everywhere, and it's not just the music stores that are that way. So So anyway, I felt the need to put this video out there because I put the other one out there, kind of sowing some fear out there and stuff. And and I even said back then that I've always been a huge fan of Sweetwater. I think they're a great partner. I'll finish up one last thing and one important thing. And let me say this first. Um, do not get into debt that you cannot afford when buying music gear. Make sure you're responsible. It can get out of hand on you very quickly. So make sure you're paying attention to that and you're just not looking at that. Hey, for $13 a month times 48 months, you can buy it. Yes, on the surface, that doesn't seem like anything. Anybody can afford that. That's less than Netflix, okay? But at the end of the day, if you do that once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 times, that stuff starts to add up real quick. And then now you're just committed to that, and you never know what troubles life throws you. So make sure that when you do your financing, that you think about these things, because that's messed up a lot of folks over the years. Okay, but to say that Sweetwater has the best freaking financing on the planet. Here's a little thing I want to challenge you to do, because I find this interesting, because especially lately, because gear prices are going up everywhere in the used market. And let's say, for example, I want to buy a distressor, which is a compressor, right? A 19-inch rack compressor. I want to buy a distressor. And what I'll do is I'll go look on Reverb, because sorry, Sweetwater, but I always buy used first if I can. Sorry, reality. Hey, you do that too. So anyway, I go to Reverb and I look up and find, okay, what's a distressor selling for? And I look at that price, okay? And then, of course, I look at the Affirm on it. If I'm going to finance it, right? I look at the Affirm and I say, okay, how much am I going to pay? Because most likely if I'm buying it from another seller, I'm not getting 0% interest over there. I'm going to get a higher interest. So I'm going to see that, and I'm going to look at the sale price, including the interest. So my out the door price once it's paid off, what am I paying at Reverb? And then go back and look at what am I paying new at 0% financing? What does that equate to? Which obviously is the asking price. So the math is pretty simple on the Sweetwater side. How close is that? And what I'm finding here lately, mainly because used prices are holding their value quite well because inventory's not there, and that's what's driving a lot of that. But what you'll find is oftentimes it most always is just a little bit more new, but it's just poquito, baby, not very much. Okay. And so that what I'm trying to say is oftentimes your gut instinct may be to go look to buy it used because you're going to save 20, 30% that way. But oftentimes that interest rate is higher on that. Now, if you're just paying outright, then this is only if you're financing, right? It's actually about the same, sometimes maybe potentially cheaper, going the route of Sweetwater buying new with their financing. Okay. So anyway, consider that, because that's an important thing, and it can get you in the driver's seat pretty good as long as you're responsible managing your money. It's not my place to tell you that. I just got to plant the seed. Okay. So anyway, hope you like the things I talk about on this channel. Got a bunch of videos out there that actually talk about real studio stuff. Go check that out. Appreciate it. But do me a favor. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and then that notification bell. Help support my channel. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I hope every one of you have a great